All right, so, you're ready to ditch the pesticides, right? Turn your garden into like a bird haven.
Yeah.
We're really going to deep dive into this research about using birds to naturally control those pests.
It's fascinating, I think. It's such a win-win, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You get this thriving garden, it's beautiful, and the birds get a reliable food source. It's about working with nature.
Totally. Totally. Like not fighting it.
Right.
Yeah, you've brought some really cool articles.
Yeah.
And one study really caught my eye. I think it was about chickadees. It said that like just one chickadee family during nesting season, they can eat like 9,000 caterpillars.
Yeah, that's a lot of hungry mouths.
Wow. That's incredible.
And
Huh?
that kind of highlights like the sheer volume of insects that birds consume. It's like
Yeah.
an all-you-can-eat buffet out there.
Totally.
And those guarding pests,
Yeah,
they're on the menu.
they are on the menu.
Yeah.
And speaking of menus, I remember you saying that you have a problem with slugs in your garden, right?
Yes, definitely.
And one of the articles, I think it was from the Wildlife Gardeners Association, they suggest attracting robins,
Yes.
which seems kind of random, but apparently they love slugs.
They do. And robins are ground foragers, you see, so they're perfect for controlling the pests that are down low,
Okay.
in the soil, on those low-lying plants.
Gotcha. So it's not just like attracting any bird.
No.
It's about like knowing what you need,
Exactly.
right, for your pest problem.
Exactly. And that's what's really cool about it. Different species of birds, well, they have different hunting techniques.
Like aerial acrobats
Right.
versus like the ground foragers.
Yes, precisely. You've got swallows and swifts, for example.
Right.
Like tiny little fighter jets, zipping all around, catching insects mid-flight, super effective. Especially against flying insects, mosquitoes, gnats.
Oh, that's great news for anyone who enjoys, being outside in the evening.
Totally. And then there are birds like woodpeckers that were like skilled carpenters drilling into those trees to get those pesky bark beetles, those wood-boring insects, the ones that damage the trees.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you can't forget owls. They're like the night guardians, keeping all those rodents in check.
Yes. They're incredible predators. Owls are vital for keeping that ecosystem balanced.
Yeah.
There was a study, actually, from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, showed that just one barn owl family, they can eat over 3,000 rodents in just a year.
That's incredible. That's like a natural rodent control system built right in.
Exactly. And it's not even just about the number,
Yeah.
They help prevent future infestations.
Okay.
So it's preventative, not just a solution.
Gotcha. So they're keeping the populations down.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you don't need those harmful pesticides in the first place.
So then how do we make our gardens appealing to these helpful birds? I'm guessing it's more than just a bird feeder.
Well, a feeder is a good start, but it's about creating a habitat, giving them everything they need.
Like a little home away from home for them.
Yeah. Food, water, shelter, nesting sites. It's all got to be there.
So like a mini bird sanctuary.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Even small changes make a big difference.
All right. I'm ready to get started. Let's talk about like the nitty-gritty of creating this haven.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're really going for this bird paradise in our backyards. Where do we even begin?
Well, native plants are key. One of the articles you gave me really stressed that.
Right.
They attract so many insects, and that's what the birds need,
Yeah. Yeah, especially when they're nesting.
Exactly.
So instead of like a perfectly manicured lawn, it's better to have, those native trees and shrubs, wildflowers.
Yes, precisely. And native plants, well, they're already used to your climate, the soil.
Right, right.
So less maintenance.
Makes it easier for us lazy gardeners.
Exactly.
And I imagine different birds like different plants.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
if you want hummingbirds,
Yeah.
you want those tubular flowers, trumpet, honeysuckle, bee balm.
Okay.
Perfect for those long beaks.
Right, right. Now, what about those slugs? I mean, you mentioned you had trouble with them too.
Yeah.
Are there specific plants that will, keep them away or attract the birds that eat them?
Well, not really plants that deter slugs specifically, but good drainage and air circulation help,
Yeah.
make it less slug friendly.
Oh, okay.
And for attracting the slug-eating birds, like those robins, they love ground cover.
Okay.
Like ferns, hostas, where the slags like to hang out.
So it's about like Strategically planning the garden.
Yes,
What we plant, where we plant, it's like we're designing this buffet.
that's a great way to put it. And don't forget the water.
Yeah, of course.
Birds need it for drinking and bathing.
So a bird bath, that's enough, right?
Yeah, a bird bath is great, but you can get creative. I was reading this article, I think it was in Birdwatching Daily. They suggested making a mini pond.
Oh, cool.
Just use a shallow dish or even an old tire.
Really?
Fill it with water, some rocks.
I like that. It's kind of whimsical.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. And remember, birds are drawn to running water. So a little fountain, a dripper, those work really well.
That's a good tip. I love the sound of water. It's so relaxing. But won't that, like, attract mosquitoes?
Ah, that's true. But remember, we're also attracting the birds that eat those mosquitoes.
Oh, right. It's all connected.
Exactly. So we get the nice sounds, no mosquito bites, and the birds get a feast.
Perfect. Now, what about shelter? Places for them to nest.
Right, so they need places to rest, hide from predators, raise their young.
So birdhouses are important then. I always see those cute little houses and gardens.
Yeah, birdhouses are great, but you got to get the right size, the right style.
Oh, so not all birdhouses are created equal.
Exactly. Do a little research, see what works best for the birds you want.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what about, like, natural nesting sites?
Yeah, planting dense shrubs or trees, that gives them cover, good nesting spots.
Okay, and what about all those leaves and twigs? Do you know the ones I'm always tempted to clean up?
Don't. Those are great for nesting material, shelter. And they also create habitat for insects, which, remember, are bird food.
So my tendency to let things get a little wild is actually a good thing.
It is. You're a natural at this.
I like the sound of that. Now, we got to talk about pesticides.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
A big no-no.
They're bad for the birds, right?
They can be really harmful, direct contact or through their food.
So if we're serious about this bird haven, we need to go organic.
Absolutely. And there are lots of good eco-friendly alternatives.
Okay, like what?
Well, one article mentioned companion planting, planting different things together that naturally repel pests,
Okay,
like marigolds near tomatoes to keep away whiteflies.
that's pretty cool. Nature's own pest control. Now, what about aphids? I know ladybugs are good for that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Ladybugs are great, and you can attract them with pollen and nectar, but they're also lacewings, hoverflies.
They eat aphids too.
Yes.
So we're not just making a bird-friendly garden, it's a whole ecosystem.
That's it, a whole web of life. Everything's connected, everything has a role.
I love that. It's like we're creating this, I don't know, tapestry of life.
Beautiful way to put it. And remember, even small gardens make a difference.
So even if I just have a little balcony, it still matters.
Every little bit counts.
This is really inspiring. I'm seeing my garden totally differently now. It's not just about plants. It's a home for wildlife, a little paradise.
And it's a journey. You'll be amazed at the birds you see, the things you learn.
I can't wait. But before I go by every native plant and birdhouse out there, I want to talk about the bigger picture.
Yeah, good point.
It's not just our backyards, right? It's bigger than that.
You're right. Attracting birds is great. But we have to think about how our actions affect them on a larger scale.
So what else can we do? Beyond our gardens. So
Yeah.
we've been talking about our own gardens and making them like bird-friendly. But how do we protect birds, in the bigger picture?
Well, one of the biggest issues they face is habitat loss.
Right, of course.
As we build more houses, farms, all that, we tuck away their space.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's not just about our gardens then.
Right. It's about supporting, responsible land use,
Yeah.
making sure there's space for wildlife.
Okay, so like supporting organizations that protect those habitats.
Exactly. I was reading a report from the Audubon Society, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They emphasized how important it is to protect those forests, wetlands, grasslands. Different birds need different spaces.
And climate change, I bet that's having a huge impact too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a major threat. We're already seeing the effects. Birds are so sensitive to those changes, the temperature, the rain.
Yeah.
It messes with their breeding, their food sources, even their migration patterns.
So like tackling climate change is a big part of protecting birds too.
Exactly. Supporting those policies for clean energy, reducing emissions, those things matter.
Totally. What else can we do like in our everyday lives to help?
Well, one simple thing is to make our windows safer.
Safer.
Yeah. Did you know that millions of birds die every year from hitting windows?
Millions. Really? I had no idea. That's awful.
It is. But we can do things to help, like putting decals on the windows or screens.
Oh, okay.
It breaks up the reflection of the sky. You see, birds see that reflection and think it's open space.
I've seen birds fly into my window before. Makes sense.
Yeah, so you can also keep feeders and baths away from windows too. And
Yeah.
if a bird does hit your window, there's information online about what to do.
Good to know. What about like outdoor cats?
Mm.
I know they can be a problem for birds.
They are. Cats are natural predators. They can really impact bird populations, especially in towns and suburbs.
Right.
So, best to keep them indoors. Or, if they go out, use a harness and leash. Or you can build a catio.
A catty.
A catio, it's like a screened-in porch, but for cats.
Oh, that's cool. So they get to be outside, but they can't, hunt the birds.
Exactly. And we talked about pesticides in our gardens, but we need to think about the bigger picture, too.
Oh, right. Like the pesticides used on farms and stuff.
Exactly. Those can be devastating for birds. They poison them, contaminate their food, even affect their ability to reproduce.
Wow.
Supporting organic and sustainable agriculture is so important.
Yeah. So like buying organic food whenever we can.
Exactly. And, don't underestimate the power of just talking about it.
Oh, right.
Tell your friends, family why bird conservation matters. Share information online. You can even contact your representatives. Ask them to support bird-friendly policies.
It's all about taking action.
Yes.
In our gardens, in our communities, in our choices at the store. It all adds up.
It does. It's about realizing that everything's connected and our actions have consequences.
So even small things can make a big difference. Planting a
Right.
native plant, putting up a birdhouse, choosing organic.
Exactly. Every step we take, it helps create a healthier world for birds and for us.
I love that. Well, I think we've really gone deep today.
We have.
It's been amazing learning about birds, their role in the ecosystem, what they're up against, and how we can help. Hopefully everyone listening is feeling inspired to get involved, even in small ways.
I hope so too. And remember, enjoy it. Connecting with nature, watching the birds, making your space welcoming for them, it's so rewarding.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep looking up.